My next guest, ladies and gentlemen, he is a professional mixed martial artist with a record of 13 wins with 3 losses. He is a PFL fighter, a PFL Challenger Series winner, and will get a chance to advance in the PFL tournament for a journey to a championship and $1 million cash prize. Please welcome onto the show, Impa Kasanganay. How you doing, Impa?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. How you
Oh,
doing?
doing great, man. Thanks so much, man. I know you're out of practice right now. You got a big fight to train for and getting ready for. So thank you for taking the time this morning.
Appreciate you. Yeah, staying active and man, it's all part of the process. So thanks for willing to have me on the show and looking forward to getting to it.
Absolutely, man. So, how's life for you right now? Because again, you started off with the Challenger Series. Now, you weren't in the PFL tournament to start the season off. I know you fought Corey Hendricks, and then obviously, through other things that happened, you're in the tournament. You're able to get a great finish, and now you're in the journey for $1 million, man. How's that feeling? How's the year been for Impa?
Man, I'm at peace. I'm grateful. It's things I expected of myself and my coaches and like the direction we were working. And I we're a world champion this year, which is awesome, right? The $1 million comes with it. I get to do what I love. I get to go fight. I get to go to battle, and that's what means a lot to me. The $1 million comes, the money comes with it. Like I would say, if I use my brain, I can go make $1 million too. Getting to use my fist is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm very grateful, very very grateful, and I thank God every day that I'm in the PFL. It's cool being back in the major league, and especially an organization that's growing and becoming like one of the major players, not the major player in all of MMA, where like they're exciting new things are happening and they keep capitalizing. Great staff, great people to work with, and man, I love to stay active. So that's one thing I really, really want to aspect of PFL that I'm enjoying. And yeah, the opportunity and the to want to get that $1 million this year and that world title is going to be a very significant uh, moment and chapter in my life, and then ready to get back to work. So I'm excited.
Now for you, could you envision, it's July, right? Can you
Mm.
envision when you started the year to now that you'd be here today at this position?
Sure, I did. I believed in myself, and I know I've been putting the work in. Like I never taken time off, unless I've
Yeah.
been sick or something or the injury. And I thank God I haven't had any injuries, but um, man, like nonstop work. Whether I didn't have a fight for 6 months, 7 months, eight, whatever, I like stayed in the gym, and it's capitalizing off the investments that have been put in. And I believe that like nothing's stopping me from becoming a world champion. I'm not going to stop myself, and uh, this is where I saw myself when I saw the PFL. I saw myself. I kept saying, I continue to say, stay consistent, like challenger to champion, and that's who I am. Like I came in as a challenger. Maybe not everybody knew me. Maybe some people did. Depends on how you knew me through my life and my career. Now, I'm like this fight, and then go become a world champion, and that's always said, challenger to champion, and keep moving forward to PFL. So definitely saw myself here right when I signed to fight on that challenger series, and this is the direction. And now I'm not getting so high because I expected myself. Like when Barry Sanders was getting to end zone, he never celebrated crazy, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he was happy, but it's like he expected of himself. So yeah, for sure.
I mean, again, I get it, but I mean, you did have a pretty gnarly finish in the second round, man. You got to feel good with
Thanks.
that, right?
Oh, for sure. No, no, I love it. Like you see me dance and all that in the cage, like in that moment for sure. It's like you just never want to get so high or so low because I know I can do better. I could have done better that fight, right? I could have finished him earlier. I could have done some things that would have helped some, make those adjustments and refine it. I don't want to think that I don't act like I've made it yet, right? I always look at like what can I do to get better, and that's where my line is, especially this close to my fight. It's like I don't want to get support. I'm like, like oh yeah, that's all. It's like that was awesome, a part of it. The job's not finished, the job's not done, so I got to get right back to it. And it was awesome. I'm happy like the things we work on came together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get finish this fight on August 4th, and go finish the fight at the end of the year, and then it'll be time to be happy and celebrate for like a day or two, then get back to work. So.
You're a professional fighter, you're an athlete, but you're human first and foremost. You're a human
Mhm.
being. So you had a stint in the UFC. I
Mhm.
think it didn't go the way you wanted it to. But from that point on, I mean, what did you learn from that, and how has that experience helped you here in the PFL, which is another big organization?
Yeah. The time of the UFC was awesome because it's like I was training a year and a half overall. Like I never did martial arts or anything
Okay.
growing up, so I started training when I was 24, got in the UFC 25, turned 26,
Yeah.
26, and like it was cool. So it's like you get a lot of high speed things fast. You see how the organizations work inside and out. You understand like business side of it. You're learning the business side of it. You're learning all that. It's like things I've taken from it's like how to be professional in every moment. And the high moments, be grateful. And the low moments, thank God too. You know, whether it was the Buckley kick or it was my first finish in the UFC. You know, like I'm very grateful. You know, that got a submission finish in the UFC and man, like and there's so many things to learn from it. And like having like six fights under the banner overall, like including my two contender series fights,
Yeah.
I can say I'm very, very it was a good stage to help me develop and really see what I need. And then one thing I learned, you just have to have the best for yourself. You know, I was at a gym before when I first started in the UFC, in North Carolina, a gym where I didn't have like training partners that were consistent or really were there. So it was awesome that I made the move down to Kill Cliff, which was Sanford at the time. Now it's Kill Cliff. And that's been something I learned that you have to demand the best for yourself.
Yeah.
And man, now I'm here, and it's the proof is in the pudding, right? Proof's in the pudding, and it's like I've learned that you can care about people, you can love people, but you also got to make sure you love yourself and push forward. And that's a lesson that I've worked through and learned through and grown through. And man, I'm very very grateful for the position that I'm in. And it's like don't ever, and also too, like I've had great moments, and I've had moments where that's just like don't ever get so like cocky or arrogant that I that I'm made it yet. Because when I get the title this year, that's not where I'm capping it off at, right?
Yeah.
Because this title can go, if PFL and Bellator become a thing, right? I want to fight the champion from Bellator, then unified. I want to really to go a different weight class, get that like a three-weight class to go heavyweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight. Like I don't want to stop here and be like, oh man, this is it. To $1 million is awesome,
Yeah.
right? When you look at professional sports in general, like $1 million is not much compared to like if you want like I think comparison can like kill content, right? Like it's like it's the truth. And so I'm very grateful. It's also too I want to set the standard for that can be so much more, bring so much more into the into
Absolutely.
the uh, sport and organization. Like maybe I start at PFL with $1 million tournament, and then maybe while I'm in PFL it becomes a $10 million tournament, and then it goes from 10 million to $100 million. Like like that way it starts growing, and then like people get like a major contract. But then if like the pot's bigger here, the pot's bigger for everybody else, and everybody can keep grabbing and keep going and keep growing and keep growing. And it's great to see. Like I envision that one day that'll happen, and I'd love to be around for it. Like I believe that I will be. By the time we're gonna get those $20 million fights and all that, it's like it's cool. I want to still challenge it to grow. Like I don't want to just look at the envelope. I want to push that envelope and open it and just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. So, man, it's like, and that's what I learned in the UFC. It's like you challenge yourself to be better. They're growing, PFL's growing. They're growing, PFL's growing. Like that's something I have to do within my own life because if they're growing around me, I got to grow within myself, and that's been one of my major lessons. So, all that too is like you just can never worry about what people say because you have to know who you are, and when you know who God's called you to be, you never stress. So,
When you got into the level that you've gotten to, like you said, you trained what about a year and a half before you got into the UFC. You're in the PFL now. I mean, you got to have some, there's a level of confidence, right? You want to be humble, but there's a level of confidence. When did you realize that you're good at this MMA thing?
then from the day I started, it was like not just. That's why funny. It's funny you say that. Right? I told you I don't have confidence. I have faith. Like I
Okay.
definitely know. Like when I go in a fight, I'm gonna go dominate. That's my focus. I trust God. I'm gonna do that. Like that's that. But it's a belief. Like I don't care what size you. I don't care what this. Like I'm gonna outwork, out hustle, outfight whoever.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna refine along the way. So yeah, there's skill sets like the choke that we had last fight. There's skill sets that develop in the time. I was like, no matter what, I'm committed to it. No matter what. Like it doesn't matter if it's bloody, it doesn't matter if it's like wrestling based, if it's strength. I'm going to keep attacking and keep attacking and keep attacking until it's over. Right. And give my best. So that's something for me. It's like it's a choice and an attitude and a decision that I make that it ultimately seems like like extreme confidence, but it's really to me it's like I have this faith and this belief that like, God called me here and I can operate and be at peace in that. So it's not even though if I've been cracked in a fight, I'm like, oh, okay, good shot. I know that I'm gonna keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, right? And and that's what's helped me, So it's like, yeah, like I'm grateful, but man, it's been like, people say it's a short time, but it's like and everybody makes their sacrifices, but I've sacrificed what I've needed to here, and I drive an hour to go to the gym. To come back, it's like 2 hours on the road every day. I know it's like plus other sessions, plus working. Leave my family back in North Carolina to come here to South Florida and make the most of it. So it's like even in that short time, like I would sleep in the parking lot of the gym so I could make it in the morning after I worked at night. Just uh so I can keep getting better, right? I would train till like 1 a.m., like by myself in the gym, hitting the bag. Whether I was doing it right or not, it's like the consistent effort. When COVID happened, I was working out in my garage, doing pull-ups and push-ups in my tree. Like there are things that I was doing, that extra work, so that I knew when my opportunity gets to the FC, when my opportunity gets to PFL, or anything that happens, like in that short amount of time, I believe that I put so much more work in. And I think I'm also gifted to fight. I think I'm blessed. Like there's an athleticism to me. There's a heart to fight. There's a grittiness about it, and like I'm always willing to push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. So like that's what's been helping me, and I'm very, very, very grateful.
Yeah, I think someone once told me that consistency is one of the hardest things to do because it's hard to stay consistent, right? I mean, there's too many distractions out
I
there.
feel like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of people, would forget that just being able to develop the consistency is very important. So, with that being said, do you feel like, you've already fought 3 times in the year? Your opponent on August 4th, Martin Hamlet, you're fighting a tough guy. He's had 2 fights, one less fight than you. Do you feel like that's an advantage or disadvantage for you, Impa?
I don't see it. I don't think it's an advantage nor disadvantage. I think it's my path, right? Like I'm
Okay.
blessed. I finished these guys. Like I mean, he's like cage time, right? He had his I had 3 round. I had a first round finish and a second round finish. So it's like man, not much cage time, but it's like if anything, it's my advantage because I got to learn, right? I got to learn more about myself in this new weight class. I got to learn that's, everything's an advantage if you can make it one, right? If you can see
Okay.
it from the perspective, like whether you had a bad practice or you were taken down one round, there's always something to learn from. So if you get cracked, I mean, that's maybe your advantage. Maybe they have a great right hand. Maybe they have a great left hook. Maybe they have a great low kick. So if you can think about it as an advantage and I can use it against them, let them try to get it again, and then you capitalize on it. So for me, it's like I've got to refine and develop as a fighter, and um, man, that's like you can almost think that you know me, right? And you realize like there's something new. So I don't know. Like I mean, what I say is that Martin, he's in the PFL for a while,
Yeah.
he's done his thing, and he has 2 fights where he earned it here, and not obviously not being a challenger, but it's like everybody has their own path, and this is
I
mine. So
agree.
I think that's just in my path, right? So.
No, I
mm,
agree. The only reason why I ask is, again, a lot of people say the PFL season is very grueling. I'm sure it is, right? You're fighting so much,
mm,
but I think from your perspective, I guess, you're trying to stay as active as possible and you're okay with whatever
Yeah,
happens, right?
sure. Yeah, I prefer. I mean, it'd be cool if we had like 8 fights in a season or something. I mean, it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Like I mean, of course, 16 fights is like not like a football thing, but I feel like we get 4 fights in a season. 6 fights would be cool. I think.
Yeah.
Start a little earlier, end about the same time, right? But I like to stay active. It's awesome. I love to fight and I love to be in it. So there's that.
You're going to be fighting August 4th, San Antonio, Texas. Have you ever fought in Texas before?
No, I haven't. I love Texas though.
I'm from
I
San
haven't, so I haven't
Antonio.
fought in San Antonio. Are you from San Antonio?
Yeah, I'm from San Antonio.
What?
Yeah.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
I've been there. I like San Antonio.
So you've been there? You've been to the Riverwalk?
Oh, sorry, what's on the podcast? How you doing? Richie? Richie
What's
Savage?
up, man?
How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Right here. Future PFL champ right here,
There we
baby.
go. I love it.
Fighting Titan champ soon, right?
Friday.
Friday, this Friday's
Hey,
fight on
best of luck
Titan
Friday,
FC. So
man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
appreciate it, bro.
God bless,
God
all right?
bless you too, bro. I like that shirt.
Thank you.
Who is that?
Richie Savage. He wrestled
Richie Savage. Shout out to Richie Savage.
hey, my man. Hey, yeah, he's a good guy. He's something he saw me in the car, so like he's yelling at me. But yeah, sorry, about San Antonio, right?
San Antonio is nice. Riverwalk.
Yes. I'm excited to go see the Riverwalk. I've been down to San Antonio once. Um, it's
Birra
funny. It was like
tacos.
early in my fight.
Birra tacos after your
Yes.
post fight. Birra tacos. You gotta get some.
Mm,
And Whataburger. Have you ever had that?
taco. Yes, I've had Whataburger. Yep,
You had
I like
Whataburger. All right,
Whataburger.
perfect, man. That's the one thing I always tell people to come to Texas. You gotta get some Whataburger. The last 2 questions.
Whataburger
Yeah.
and
Like you
burrito
said,
tacos. You said?
yeah, birra tacos, man.
I got
I'll,
you.
I'll have some
Got you.
recommendations for you. Definitely when you come. Last two
Please do.
questions before we sign off here, Impa. Josh Silveira is going to be fighting Ty Flores also, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could potentially be fighting one of them. How do you see that fight playing out?
Me fighting them or them fighting each other?
Oh, them fighting each other. How do you feel like that fight would play out?
It's a good fight. Ty showed he's tough. Ty will kind of grind it out. I've
Yeah.
seen that, and I've obviously earned his way there. Um, Josh has been proving that he's been just improving and showing what he's can do. He was close last year, so I think Josh gets it done. At the same time, it's a fight, and I think
Yeah.
that they have to be smart and put themselves in the best position. So, I'm looking forward to seeing that fight. But I believe that Josh gets it done. He wrestles well. He was showing solid footwork in his last fight. He was stepping out, making um Delon miss, right? He was making him
Yeah.
miss and turning out. So it was cool. He was effective with his teep, which was nice to see that he had different tools that that he's getting better with. And seeing Ty's last fight, it was kind of like a grinder. So we'll see. But also too, Josh didn't really get a go because obviously Delon got injured,
Yeah.
but for that short time that he was doing his job. So I think Josh gets it done, and I'll be fighting him in the title fight. So looking
Last
forward to
question
that.
here. Last question here is: what would winning $1 million and becoming a world champion for an organization like the PFL mean to you, Impa?
Yeah, winning $1 million and getting this title at the end of the year when I get it, it'll be a confirmation of all the work that's been put in, right? It'll be affirmation and it'll be an opportunity for me where I can set some things up, whether it's yes financially, at the same time too to be a first time world champion, my first world title of many. Uh, that's what's going to be very special to me. Like the $1 million, money cometh, money goes. Like money's not my master. It's like I want to use it. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a way I'm going to grow, invest, and save. And I really want to help people as well. I want to, whether it's my teammates or somebody who needs it, right? Like you can divide it different ways, right? My coaches who've been there, training partners, and all that. And work with this company called Live Wealth. It's like a one-stop financial shop, and put it into something that's going to gain compound interest, right?
Yeah.
And just be grateful. Like show my it's gonna be great because my parents, they put so much faith and belief and encouragement. They've encouraged me that we can sit down and hold that belt and just be like, man, like let's go. And it's honestly gonna to me, it's gonna be inspiration for the next one. It's gonna be like, all right, this first one's great, and I got it this year, and 2023 I'm PFL Light Heavyweight Champion. And it's like, all right, like what can I do to be better? What can I do to be like a more dominant champion? How do I do it? Like when it's I don't just want to be great. I don't just want to be okay. I want to be like great, 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 great. It's like the greatest, the best. Like how do I get myself in that opportunity? How do I put myself? That's what's going to be. To me, it's going to be more of a challenge than just like a milestone and a challenge in one. And saying like, all right, is this where you stop? Or is this where you settle and become complacent? Or is this where you show like, no, like I'm back to work. And like I said, I'm gonna go get this title, right? Enjoy the night with my team.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get on a motor, give the belt to my parents, my coaches, and go ride on a motorcycle, disappear for a while, like a few days, and get right back to the gym. Like I want to get that next one, and the work starts. Camp starts when the fight ends, and camp begins when when the camp starts when the fight ends, and camp ends when like when I get back home. But it's always right back to it. It's a revolving cycle. I probably said that wrong, but that's how I look at it. Like the second I walk out that cage, like the next one starts, and it's like we get right back to it. Camp life, it's like on a warpath. It never ends until the day I take those gloves off in the cage and put them on the canvas. And that's in the PFL, on honor, wherever God has me. But like that's what that means to me, man. And it gives me opportunity to make some awesome changes in my life financially, where I could like let it grow. But that's about it. And hopefully too, like I pray that helps me like raise the standard in MMA.
Yeah.
It's not really a sport because you can take people's life points away. But when I use the term sport, I mean just overall in the business side of it, like how do I work with PFL brass? How do I work with the PFL CEOs? How do I work with MMA overall and commissions and everything like that to say we can raise a standard, bring more money in for all the fighters I can represent as a champion. And at the same time, too, like if they can pay fighters $5 million a fight, pray God that day happens, plus and 10 and whatever, $100,000 from the base salary. What does that mean for the champions? But what does that also mean for the CEOs in Nebraska? I mean, they do put a lot of work in, like all the people in Nebraska. So that to me when I become champion, puts me in a position to have those conversations and leave a lasting statement. Just show that like you can trust God. Most importantly, you can trust God and just say like and be a beast in the cage and trust Jesus and like follow him and do all you're doing and love people. And when it's time to go, you go and you dominate. And that for me is what that'll mean. That'll be a one moment where it comes together in a way,
Yeah.
and I can look back and like, thank you, Lord, and just move forward. So.
Great message. Impa Kasanganay, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch him in action on ESPN August 4th when he takes on Martin Hamlet in the semifinals of the Light Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Impa, is there anything you want to let the audience know before we sign out here?
And just so you're unconditionally loved. You might be going through it today. You might be sleeping in your car today. You might have lost your job, lost a kid, lost somebody you love, and then all of a sudden you wake up the next day or a year from today and it's the best moments of your life. And some things can never be replaced, like the loss of a child and anybody going through it, obviously praying for you. At the same time, too, whether you lost your job, big business plan, something happened, lost somebody you care about, all these different things, trust me that the best is yet to come. And if like you need a sign to say, oh, you're gonna give up, like just let this be the one where you're like, you're not gonna quit. So sometimes we make it all about ourselves. And like you can follow me on social media, yeah, Impa K5, all that stuff. But what's most important is that you're okay. And it's like if you're wondering about somebody they're on your mind, do you think you should check on them because you never know what somebody's going through and everybody's just trying to make it in life. So um, maybe they just need you to say hello and they won't off themselves. So not all about me. So I appreciate you having me on and yeah, encourage somebody today and say hello and just ask them to talk because you never know how that might change your life. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, Impa Kasanganay.